Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of Framing the Force here on the Aspect Network. I am one of your hosts, Robby Weidemann, and joining me every week to discuss a galaxy far, far away is my co-host, Alex Batts. Alex, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Robby. Very excited to get into our first full-length episode. So for that, we're going to kick off this episode by continuing our discussion from last week. Robby and I both run Star Wars media accounts, both showcasing the best of the franchise in still and GIF format. Robby, I want to start with you. Could you share with the audience some more about how you came into doing shot by shot? Like, how did this become a venture that you were like, yeah, I'm going to spend an ungodly amount of time doing this?
I don't know what made me want to spend an ungodly amount of time, honestly. I was originally actually going to do frame by frame, but
Oh, really?
yeah, I was quickly talked out of that. Did crunch some numbers with lightsaber queen Chloe. I don't know if you know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
She crunched some numbers for me and was like, it's gonna take you over a year to complete the Phantom Menace. And I was like, no thank you. But I also was doing that at the full 24 frames instead of crunching it down to 1 like a lot of the frame by frame accounts do. And that was just me being stupid on that end, but it's okay. I'm very glad it because I would have had to set up a bot and everything. I mean, I still should or something.
Yeah.
But
there's so many accounts that are like that. That is what they do.
Yeah.
Which I've been so curious about how exactly. Like, I need to look up how to set up bots.
Yeah, no, it's not my strong suit, and I was like, let me see how I can do this manually. So I basically I realized early on shots are the way to go. It'll be somewhat easier in a posting perspective, but a hell of a lot harder on a labor perspective. But I was like, all right, let me try it. And I exported Phantom Menace every fourth frame, third frame. And I would go through it individually, frame by or every third frame, with all these little PNGs, and pick which one I like the most from that shot and move on to the next one and do a handful of those. And then I have to rename them all based off the number they were.
Right.
And, I actually, the first day of posting, I posted manually for the first 2 hours. And I said, absolutely not. I was at work. So, and I was an office PA on a TV show. So I had some downtime during that day, thankfully, because I had all of the stuff with me, and I just started scheduling him. I was like, I'm gonna schedule these. This is gonna be impossible. So scheduled the rest for the day, and that's kind of how we do it now. I mean, I came up with 40 a day, every 15 minutes, kind of from the get-go. Sorry. And yeah, I got that number. It's like about almost 10-hour window. And so it's not, I didn't want to clog anyone's feed all day. I don't even follow the account, fun fact, because I already see everything I posted all, but it can be overwhelming in your feed. I want to give it enough.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's all
of the shots.
Yeah, literally. So, I wanted to space it out. And I came up with 40 every 15 minutes. That's kind of the general number. I have done 50. And I have done 50 across 15 minutes. I've done 50 across 12 minutes. I've played around with the posting schedules before.
I've noticed that some, because I will look at the times that they're posted and see when especially if it's in one of the instances where I'm also making GIFs to then quote the shots for, if I've got a couple ahead and I know that the shot is coming up, I'll look at the time and be like, okay, he's posting, because I was pretty sure that it was every 15 minutes.
It's every 15. Empire I did every 12 because I was doing
50 I was like, Empire. This is not and I did notice that jump because I was looking at the clock and I was like, this is not every 15 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes I speed it up, but not often. I try to stick to a consistent 40 every 15 minutes, 40 day every 15 minutes, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Empire and currently Return of the Jedi. I had to do 50. I had to do weekends for Empire, just to get I Am Your
To
Father
May the
on
4th.
May 4th.
Yeah.
I had that was the only way it was going to happen. Um,
Hmm.
Return of the Jedi, I was kind of testing it out, see if I wanted to do it with 40. I'm probably going to go back just to having those 2 weekend days off, just because it's way easier on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I do weekends. It just depends on my mood. I just kind of there's not really a structure to it. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's whatever ends up working for the film and what date I'm trying to hit, if I even have a date planned. I don't plan all the films based off of a shot on a day. Some of them I do, some ways. I usually don't, but if it just lines up.
Yeah. That makes sense. How did you first become like kind of interested in possibly doing a social media account as like a fan account thing? Like, is this your first? Is this the only like
Yeah.
fan account that
This
you've
is like
had?
the only
As in, this
like
your
I mean, aside from my
just came
personal
out
account, I was just like, I'll do this. Sure.
just came out the gate swing? That's so interesting to me. Like,
Yeah.
how did that seem like something that you would be interested in doing?
Um, I don't know. I like Star Wars a lot. Shot by shot, like at the beginning, I mean, it still is at this point. It's a passion project. That's like what I
Yeah.
introduced it as, what I label it as. It's just a labor of love. And my test dummy was the Phantom Menace. I wouldn't have been mad if I didn't keep doing it, because I would have had all the Phantom Menace shots. So, but
That's
no,
what
I
everybody
mean, like
wanted. Yeah.
with my personal account, I was just like, I wanted to talk more about Star Wars, and I I'm an editor, so for the longest time, I would post edits every now and then, whether it was just like a character highlight reel to a song or whatever, or if it was a trailer. Like I made some modern trailers. Those are by far the most fun I've had making something. But I lost a lot of
Yeah.
that time to shot by shot, so I
I
don't
mean, that makes
do
sense.
the videos anymore. But and I also just like what really got me into it was I love Phantom Menace. It's and many people don't, and I would just
Yeah.
defend it. That was my thing.
That's the
I
good.
would just kind of like explain to them why they're looking at it with a narrow lens and not
Hmm.
opening the mind to what the film actually is. And I mean, I'm sure you go through it often with The Last Jedi, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah. You could say
but
that.
yeah, I mean, that was the thing. I started the account because I love. I mean, my personal account just it was just me rambling about Star Wars that people just started to follow. Okay,
Yeah.
um, why you want to follow me? Beyond me, but I'll take it. Thank you. I appreciate all of you because you guys are just as crazy as I am. But yeah, no, I just wanted to talk about Star Wars, and here we are.
That's really awesome. That's honestly like so
It's kind of snowballed
completely.
for no reason.
Yeah, it's so funny to me though because it's so. This one with the GIF is far from my first
Yeah,
fan
you
account.
run a lot of like you've run what 3 4 GIF accounts?
I
More?
wish the number was that low.
Oh man,
So
I can think of I know there's the film one. There's a isn't there a
yeah,
Batman one and there's a Star Wars
yeah.
one.
There's two
Is
Batmans.
there a Dune one or is the Dune one the film one that just a lot of Dune?
The the Dune one is the film one. It was just mainly Dune because
Okay,
I started posting on that one again after Dune Part Two had come
right,
out.
okay.
Um, yeah. So um, my history with that is that I basically, I mean, honestly, even like before the first couple ones that I had made on Twitter, like whenever I was in high school still, I remember being like an admin on a couple different like Facebook, like comic book character fan pages
Hmm.
type things and just like posting on there. And so that always been interesting to me and like kind of a fun thing to do. But then, yeah, in like 20, I want to say it was 2018, there was this really big trend that was happening on comic book Twitter where like people would do let's talk insert character name
Hmm.
as like an account. Um, so there was a ton of these that just started popping up, and there was a Batman one that was not run by me because like they had done it first. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to like just do another one and be like copying or whatever.
Yeah.
was trying to be like respectful, and so I was like, okay, and so I made a Scarlet Witch account because she's one of my favorite Marvel characters. It's like I made that account and did that, and then just found a way that was worked for me with like posting, and like would just post what I would like. I was just trying to think about like what I would want to see
Now
a fan account like that
this is just
posting.
a fan account, not a GIF account, or is this a GIF account?
Yeah, so
Okay.
this is like informational posts, recommendations, reviews of books, just images,
Mhm.
just like things like
Right.
that, just journal like stuff. Um, and so yeah, this is before I had started making gifs. Really, I was still trying tw- like tweaking and figuring out how to make gifs well because my early ones were not good. They were real bad. Actually, the first gif that I had pinned on my Star Wars account for a while, which is the same, it's the same moment of Ahsoka like
Just
igniting her
now it's
sabers.
updated.
But oh yeah, but like the one that it used, I'm pretty sure I still have it bookmarked because I think it's hilarious because the quality is
Oh, I
terrible.
gotta see it. You gotta
Um,
send me that.
yeah, but so yeah, I made the Scarlet Witch account, and then I had that one and this other comic character Dove. I had those two accounts. Then finally, like, not to call this Batman account out, but they like weren't posting a whole lot, and like the stuff was like fine, and I was like, I would do so much more like if I was like making a Batman
Mhm.
one, and so like I made a Batman one, and that one ended up still getting a like decent amount of traction. And there was a time where I was posting on like all three of those accounts, like at least 3 times a day, and then
Busy.
some more than that. Um, and they just started doing really well. Like I got them all to 1,000 followers, and
That's
then
awesome.
after that point, yeah, which was like really cool. But then after that point, the Batman one, because he's Batman, started to like take off and
Right.
gain a lot more traction. And so then that one obviously got like more of my focus. Um, and so that account, I ended up changing the name eventually because like the Let's Talk thing like died out. There was a whole bunch of drama too. It was wild. I don't need to like get into all
I
that,
have no
but
idea what
as
any of
Twitter
this is, so this is news to me. But it's that sounds something.
as is wont to happen on Twitter, there was a bunch of drama that happened
Right.
amongst a bunch of people. And so like everyone started changing the names of their accounts and whatnot. And so like that account is what is now called Batman Files. And that account has like 22,000 followers, I think, right
Damn,
now.
I had no
It's
idea.
gone down because I'm like super inactive on it now.
That's
It
still
had like
crazy
25.
though. Like you have
Yeah, it had
multiple accounts that are like that you've just grown like yourself. Just
yeah, that one was definitely my baby, and I'm very proud of that one. That was wild to see. I also was so excited whenever it hit to 10K because it's different on Twitter now,
mhm.
but previously, whenever you got to 10K, like you'd have to get to 10,000 followers to get the K next to your follower
Right.
account. Now you'll get it at like 1,000,
Yeah,
which
it
is
used to
like
be like
makes me
a little
so
achievement. No,
salty, honestly.
I just made it with shot by shot to that K when it was still like a when it was still a K.
Like an achievement,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was so hyped when I finally got to 10K. I was like, oh yeah, like that's
Yep.
awesome. Um, yeah, no, but so that account was really cool. I put a lot of time and like effort and stuff into that one. And yeah, I don't post on it as much anymore, but it's at like 22,000, which is nice. And then, so I have that one. And then somewhere along the way, like of running that one, I can't remember when exactly, yeah, started getting better about, like making gifts and figuring that out. And so I started doing that. And I had a couple of different, I don't remember the first accounts that I like tried out to like do it with, but Star Wars was one of the first ones. And I had mentioned this in the episode 0. It didn't completely like land at first.
Mhm.
Like, also, the gifts weren't that good, as I was just saying. But then um, I like stepped away for a while, and whenever I came back, the like traction with the algorithm just hit really well, and like it started to take off. And so I like put a lot of focus into that, and then yeah, after that, like one with the gifts started doing well. I at one point was making, as we were talking about earlier, an ungodly amount of other accounts that were just like whatever niche thing. And so like I know there's like the film one, which is silver screen gifts. I do have a Batman gifts one specifically. That one's at like 13K, I'm pretty sure, because like again, Batman normally does well,
Yeah.
and like I was also able to funnel followers directly from my other Batman
Right.
account, so like that helped. Um, so it's like the Batman one, the silver screen one. I had a Witcher one at one point for a second. There's a Matrix one. There's a like games as gifts one,
Wow.
which is like video games. There's a Blade Runner one, I'm pretty sure. Um,
I
there's a,
had no idea.
I did a Marvel or a Marvel animated one for a while. I have the at Marvel animated, which is wild. Yeah, I cannot believe that was
When
not
did you make
claimed
that account?
previously. Like 3 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
Like it should have been claimed by
Oh
someone
yeah,
at Marvel
absolutely.
or Sony by
Anyone.
then. Like, yeah. But yeah, so like I had that account. There's just a litany of them, and like the thing is, I my like perspective on them got really skewed because of the success of One with the GIF. And so like it would be really hard. One, in general, even if I was like super passionate about like all of them continuously, like it is so hard to make that many GIFs from that many different things and like post on it consistently.
Right.
And so like I always would keep like no matter what, One with the GIF is going to get consistent posts on it. Like that's just going to happen,
Mhm.
even if it's just like one a day, or sometimes I'll even miss a day. But like I'm not going to stop posting on that for
Right.
like months at a time, like ever again. Um, Got to get to that 100K,
Yeah.
which is like really far away at this point, and Elon
Yeah,
destroyed the algorithm. So
I'm like I've been like on the cusp of 40. It's I think I'm at like 46,000, like 590 something. I've been at like 90 something for like the last
I was
week,
at
and it's been
I was at 65 for like so long. I finally have started like gaining followers again,
Mhm.
uh, which is nice. But yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's
there's
wow.
sometimes it just goes nuclear, and then other times it's just a drought.
Yeah, it's wild. It's so frustrating. I remember honestly the one of the wildest things I remember whenever I was first like posting on it and started to get traction, and it was like actually like steadily, like it was probably in the like 10th between like when I was at 10 and 20K. Like I was at one point gaining like 1,000 followers at least a week, which was unreal.
Yeah,
Like I was like, I this is crazy to see.
Revenge of the Sith
Um,
did all did some numbers for me.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, like, especially like whenever you. I mean, that whole movie is. I was gonna be
Yeah.
like when you get to whatever part, but like really, it's the whole movie. Like the whole movie is
One of the
just
most like shots. It might be the most like it's either the first or second most like not including the transition of 3PO to the funeral. Um
Mhm.
but one of the most like shots is literally just Anakin when he's talking to Yoda, and it's the how the lighting hits his face from the blinds. That's like
Yeah, yeah,
that one exploded. So like literally just consistently throughout the entire film, it's all shot beautifully. So they
yeah,
just carry the work themselves.
yeah. No, it's one of those things that's really cool. I also, so I know that we're both very similar in this. I absolutely do my best to like post the highest quality. That was always a big that's honestly one of the biggest things that I learned when like through all of the 80 million different fan accounts that I've like posted and stuff. And whenever they would like start getting traction, I would get a lot of people to be like, "Oh, how are you getting like traction on your account? Why is whatever getting attention?" And honestly, the biggest thing is one, like consistency. Like if you post consistently, no matter what no matter what other changes they end up making to the algorithm, like that will always be
Right.
like the number one thing.
Just
But
posting.
so it's like that. Yeah, just like continue posting. Like don't stop just because like nothing's getting traction. Because then if there's nothing up, of course it won't get traction. But so like that. But then also just posting like quality stuff. Like look at the and like this is slightly changed for me now since I'm so like, and I guess for you too, since I'm so specialized in like, oh, I post one thing on that account really.
Mhm.
But like whenever I was posting a variety of things, it's like look at the other posts that you see on your own timeline that like do numbers, and like why is that post like that,
Yeah.
and like trying to reverse engineer it. But so like doing that, and people be like, oh, why is whatever doing well, and I'd be like, well, like I make sure if I'm going to post an image from something, I like find the highest quality image that I possibly can from it to like post, because like I don't want to look at
I
something that's
hate
like
Googling
240p.
images. I hate it.
the
I hate doing it
reverse
in a
image search
pinch.
is much, but like yeah, it's it's just like yeah, I'm gonna find the highest resolution thing because that's what I would want to look at.
Yeah, no,
And so like
I like before I started doing my stuff, I would follow accounts that specifically catered towards posting high quality things, like
yeah,
or just any account that would just like even if it's just a normal someone's personal account, they would just go out of their way and post high quality. Like
yeah,
I downloaded a Pinterest app. I downloaded the Pinterest app because there was a before you were doing one with the GIF, there was a GIF account that on Pinterest posted a bunch of high quality stuff, and I would just download
Mhm.
it. And you've told me sometimes like you have a really like this is a really crispy GIF. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
and
a couple you posted. I'm like, man, that's
it's from
from
that
like,
Pinterest account. So
yeah,
like
I'm like, that's the nicest one I've seen that I haven't made.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I that's the only reason I have a Pinterest account. I don't use it. I don't use the app anymore. But like that's quality is key to a lot of people, myself included. Like I just want to if I'm gonna look at something, might as well make it as crisp as possible. Like
yeah, no,
the access
it's
to it
yeah.
is there. Go for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like I can't not like it's unfortunate because sometimes I'll be making a GIF and the way that whatever lighting or like sometimes the colors or whatever like it won't work. Honestly, one of the examples that breaks my heart so much because like I won't post it if I can't get it to like look good enough. And the one of the sequences that's like that the most is the crate duel between Kylo and Luke
Hmm.
in The Last Jedi, and it makes me so mad. There's like a couple of
Oh, you're
shots in that
probably
duel
dying on the inside from that.
that I just straight up I can't make a GIF from them. Like I've tried so many times, but like the colors just do not hold whenever I have to go like at a point in the process. Like it's not. And I've done all that I that I can. I've exhausted all of my like all of my knowledge
Yep.
and all of my tricks and stuff. Like I just and they won't hold. But it's like I'm not gonna post it though. Like I don't want
No, it's
because it makes me so
and then
mad
you
whenever I
and
like
then
see.
I totally understand because it took me 6 films to nail, and even I always look for ways to improve, but to like nail like my image quality, like
Mhm.
I had the workflow more or less figured out by Rogue One. Like that's when I implemented my new workflow, but I didn't have the colors figured
Yeah,
out then. It took me till Empire, and it's just
dude,
like
color is such a
and I
pain.
didn't have 4K. I started 4K. The first 4K images posted, I stopped midway, or not midway. I stopped towards the end of Revenge of the Sith posting, and I went on like a month break because I decided I was gonna recut or just start cutting the Anakin versus Obi-Wan scene. I was like, I'm gonna post this all in 4K, and I put out a poll. I was like, if you guys are okay with me stopping, I'll
Hmm.
I'll stop and I'll get you these in 4K. And
I do remember
I've
that.
been posting 4K since Solo. I had an issue in the middle. I had to switch back. I don't even remember what the stupid issue was, but
I hate
but
that.
so then I ended up going back to 4K at the end of Solo. But like I didn't like get my process down till Empire, and it's just like yeah, it's now I want to I want to repost the prequels because they're not in 4K.
Yeah, and also,
And I have to recut them,
I
which drives
want
me insane. But at least I know what number I'm going for.
that's true. That's yeah, that's very true. I need you to redo the prequels because even though I'm doing a terrible job at it right now, I would like to go GIF by GIF with you on the
I have
prequels.
to go through the sequels first. I'm not.
Oh, I'm fine with that. I mean,
I'm sure
dude,
you're
listen,
fine with
I've been waiting what 8 movies
yeah,
because we're
people
yeah,
have
so yeah, like
been waiting, and
I
there's
cannot.
gonna be a little bit of a break between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, but
uh, That's fine. That's good
I
for me actually
there's a
though, because
little
I
bit of
should
a
start
break
getting ahead.
mainly because I need a break from just doing anything to do with shot by shot. I usually take like at least a month off of posting, like at least 2 weeks off before I even start cutting, like to give myself
Yeah,
some kind of a break. But I
I mean,
also am going on a vacation in the beginning of September, so I'm like, I'm not gonna like. I'm going on a
starve while
cruise. It's
you're
not even like I'm going to another car. Like I'm just in the middle of
you're
the
just going into the
water.
ocean.
So I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just so sometime I'm hoping for mid-September, but we have no idea yet.
Got your exclusive here on Bringing the
Yeah.
Force. Shot by Shot comes back with Force Awakens in mid-September, probably.
Hopefully,
Hopefully.
we'll see.
Uh, no, yeah, that's. I mean, that's cool. I'm very excited for the
Uh,
sequels. Those are my
I'm really
favorites.
excited because they look really nice, but I'm
They
not
look so
excited
good.
because they're modern films and that means they're going to be like 2,500 plus each, and it drives me crazy just thinking about
Oh,
it.
that's true. That's a good
That's my
point.
pain.
That's
The
you
more
mentioned
new the
too.
film is, the worse of a time I have.
That
Like
makes
I
sense.
loved Empire because Empire was in and out
It's
at
so short.
1800. Like
Yeah.
nothing comes close to Empire. Everything else is 2000 or more. Empire like nice quick breeze. Thank you, Irvin, for all of those nice long takes.
Yeah. Oh, I love long takes so
Yeah,
much.
me too, especially when
That's one
doing
of the
shot by
things
shot.
too. Yeah, that's one of the things too that like I've known. It's there are some shots that won't work in GIF and only work as like like in a single shot, and then there are some in shot like where you try to do a shot by shot for it, and it's not
Yeah, some
like you
things I
can't.
just
It doesn't
I'm
work.
like,
Like
well, you're way too blurry. You're completely computer
dude,
generated. I can't deal with like I have a lot of trouble with space sometimes. I've got a lot better now with the 4K and everything, and that I go through it
Mhm.
every single frame now. I used to skip the frames. So it's gotten
Yeah.
a lot better. But man, do I hate dealing with space and ships sometimes.
Space is really good for me
Yeah, space is
because the
great for
black.
you.
Yeah, because the black compresses real nice and will for the most part hold its quality
It's
and
hilarious how we
detail,
have just polar opposite.
which is which is great. I did feel very validated whenever I saw you post about. I think I saw you post about how the speeders in Return of the Jedi are just like so fast. I don't think that people realize how fast those things are. Like they are flying. I can't make gifs from them really because it looks so
I
dumb.
actually
Like the
got
way
pretty
that
lucky. I got a lot of frames work with me, but I was stunned. But yeah, no, that thing moves.
yeah, they're real fast. Because I've like, and granted, I haven't gone through the entire sequence. Part of my bias is definitely shown in the like lack
Have
of
you
Return of the
tried?
Jedi.
Have you tried more than just like one shot? Like, or are you trying to go for one shot
I've
with them?
gone. I haven't pit like it's not that there's one shot that I'm trying to get. I've just like scrubbed around the scenes where they're at before, and like in random times, like just looked to
Get
see
the
kind
one
of.
of
So
the tree trunk that comes. That would be cool.
I,
That'd be a fun
that'd
one.
probably be good. Yeah. But yeah, you can viewers and followers, you can tell my bias of like not really caring that much about Return of the Jedi because I haven't been quoting a lot of. You got the duel now though, and I know I have a couple of those already made
We are
that
at
I need to do.
Vader finding out Luke has a sister.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, so he's like, all right, yeah. I'm pretty sure I have one like specifically, maybe like of that moment actually. Um, but so I need to like go through and post those, and then possibly make a couple new ones from that duel because that duel is great. I
yeah,
love that part.
it's
Um,
actually really short. Like, I mean, I always felt like it was kind of short, but
mhm.
shot wise, it's really short.
I guess yeah,
it.
that does track.
I think it clocks in at like the duel itself is probably 70 shots, not including the force lightning and stuff. But like in
Oh,
terms
okay.
of like lightsaber
The actual
swinging,
like lightsabers.
yeah, and whatnot,
Yeah.
it's like about 70, which is
Mm.
really short for the duel or a duel.
Yeah. That's wild. You had talked about a few minutes ago like how you need to take a break between like different films for shot by shot. It's something that I'm able to do. Like we had talked about this, I think, and I might have mentioned. I know I mentioned it like on my personal Twitter. I'd post about it some, but like after Rogue One, like after you finish posting Rogue
I
One,
went
which I think
straight
was in
into A
like
New
no,
Hope.
yeah, which
It
I'm
was
pretty sure was like
November.
November. Yeah. So I literally was preparing for a move in November and like got through Rogue One. Like I did like 50 or 60 gifts in like a session one time to like
Oh,
get caught up and
that's
like
like a
through that
200
and finish
session for
that.
me.
It was like it was awful and I literally did not make new gifts from Star Wars for like 6 months, like 5 or 6 months, no, probably like 6 months, because it wasn't until I got a new PC. Because I also at the time was and had been for like a year and a half at that point using my like old laptop to make
Just chugging
gifts, and it
along
was
and
just
praying.
yeah, because like the desktop that I had previously had just like bit it and was non-functional, and so I was using my old laptop and I was just so tired of using that to make gifts. Like it was just so infuriating. And so I straight up like stopped. And it's just wild to me that I was able to like I didn't make any new gifts for 6+ months, but still was able to post twice a day, like every day. because I just have like 1,000 GIFs on my phone. And like I feel bad sometimes for the people that have followed the page for years, because like I've definitely posted this like
Recycled
the
things,
same
yeah.
GIF. Like yeah, like I recycle GIFs. Like I try to do it where like I'll search, since I just post with the title, I'll just search the title
The
and for my
last
own
time you
profile.
posted or whatever.
Yeah, and see when the last time I posted whatever one is. And like I try to make it to where like it's not going to be for at least like 6 months, depending on what the GIF is. Because if I need something to do numbers, then like I'm going to go into the bag
Yeah.
of like
Pull out a little treat, pull out Maul, open it his lightsaber, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's probably been a while. I probably haven't posted that one in like
I
a year,
haven't seen
honestly.
any Phantom Menace out of you in a long time. And it had a whole
Hey, that's not true.
25th anniversary.
I posted Qui-Gon recently.
Then I
I'm pretty
missed it,
sure.
and I have to go find it and retweet it because I retweet all of your Phantom Menace ones for the record.
That's true. But yeah, so like I'll be able to go then and still just like pull from the ridiculous like library of GIFs that I've made, which is really fun. It's honestly, phone storage wise, it's fine for now. I'm like running out of Google Drive space. Granted, the GIFs are like not the largest thing on my Google Drive, but like I do store them in a Google Drive because I have to like, I don't get too much of the process because we have whole episodes we're going to do about that. But like, yeah, I have to put them on a Google Drive to then save to my phone. Do you have all of your shots on?
I have
your
them
phone,
on.
no?
I have the only shots I have that I post on shot by shot on my phone are more or less the reaction memes.
That makes sense.
I save a couple, and I don't even save most of them. I save a few of them. I save them few and far between. I really don't save them. I'll share them in like text to like my one friend who doesn't have Twitter, but he's a big Star Wars fan. He likes and I have like a couple friends and family who want to see that. Like my dad likes certain shots. I know I send him the ones he likes, but I don't really have them on my phone. I have them on portable drive, and I have them backed up on another drive. And I'm probably going to back them up a third or fourth time because I have inherited a couple drives from work recently. So nice. I'm going to throw some backups all over the place. And I am going to put it on Google Drive, I think, at some point. I have to clear up space.
Yeah. Dude, the storage is such a big thing.
Yeah.
With all of these.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely a trek. But yeah, it's been honestly, it's just so cool to have an account to just like completely geek out on Star Wars stuff with. And I've started being more like, I'll throw opinions on there some more now than I used to. For the longest time, I was very like hardline, like
neutral.
Not gonna do that. Yeah, it was like, I'm just gonna post because it's like, oh, dude, because it's so honestly, it's so annoying. People get so mad about everything.
Yep.
Like I literally I'm going to talk about this for a second because I just realized that we now have like a podcast where I could talk about this. A few weeks ago when the whole fire thing, the controversy on Star Wars Twitter with the fire and space stuff, I swear to God, dude. And I said this in a tweet and a lot of people were like, yeah, right, whatever. The R2 GIF that I posted from Revenge of the Sith when he ignites the oil like in the ship, I posted that GIF and I had not seen a single comment about the fire, whatever stuff yet. That one was totally coincidental and people lost their mind. And so then, of course, yeah, after that, I picked a lot of ones.
Yeah, you had a fire run.
And like,
just an absolute menacing tear on the timeline.
I mean, dude, and the thing is, though, it's just hilarious to me because, like, yeah, it did become intentional, but at the same time, there have totally been times where I've posted whatever GIFs and like not been trying to comment or say anything. And I literally, the only caption that I give on my posts is the name of the thing that I'm posting. Right. And like people will just just run with the wildest ideas about whatever like thing is. I'm like, I just
your conspiracies
on here, man. Like, there's nothing more behind this. I just thought that this one looked cool.
Yep.
Like, and that's it.
But let's let's wrap it up here for a little bit. And I think let's when we come back, I do want to introduce a new segment for everybody that we're now calling Thank the Maker. We're going to be right back.
Welcome back to Framing the Force. Before the break, we discussed how we became involved with the Star Wars fandom. Now we want to introduce a new segment we like to call Thank the Maker. For this segment, we're going to be diving into some of the creative masterminds behind the Star Wars universe and show our appreciation for their efforts and work. This week, we're going to be going a little unconventional for our first pick with the friend and longtime collaborator of George Lucas, Steven Spielberg. Robby, why is Spielberg our first spotlight on Thank the Maker?
So Spielberg, well, with Thank the Maker, like you said, we're going to be diving into a lot of just random behind the scenes facts that could go from just props or just what happened on set this day or whatever. And
Mhm.
Spielberg is really, really, really deep behind the scenes in Star Wars, but a lot of it, if not 90% of it, 100% of it almost, honestly, is just uncredited. It's not really brought up. He's not in the credits for the films. He doesn't show up, but he worked on them. So I kind of wanted to I think it was a good time to spotlight like George's best friend. I mean, he first and foremost, he's been there since before Star Wars. I mean, he was as George's best friend. He was the guy who introduced George to John Williams. A lot of people know that, but I mean, there's no Star Wars without John Williams. So right off the bat, thank you for that introduction, Steven.
Right.
And then Steven is always kind of by George's side throughout their entire careers. I mean, they took a vacation to Hawaii when the original came out, and George did not want to have to do with any news, any press, nothing. Like, he was nervous. Took a vacation, and I mean, that vacation then birthed Indiana Jones. And who's in Indiana Jones but Harrison Ford? There's that direct connection. And just throughout the films and as these things move on, you'll find little callbacks to each other and their works. So like if you want to jump to Indiana Jones, R2 and 3PO are engraved in a wall where the Ark of the Covenant
Which is so cool.
is. You want to jump over to E.T., Yoda is a costume on Halloween, and they're also playing with like the original Kenner figures within the film. Fast forward a little bit, he was the first, or one of the first choices to direct Return of the Jedi. Ultimately,
which would have been wild. I can't imagine.
That would have probably been my favorite Star Wars film, and I'm not a huge fan of Return of the Jedi that we have, so which is just a mind-blowing alternate universe thing to think of. But I mean, you flash forward to the next Star Wars film, and he was offered The Phantom Menace. So he turned that down too. But George kept going back to him for, you want to direct, you want to direct. And he turned down Phantom Menace, but we all know that E.T.'s species, Azogians, I think. I just called them the E.T. species. I think they're called Azogians or something. Anyway, that's beyond my knowledge. They're in the Senate in the Phantom Menace. A lot of people's favorite Easter eggs, but an Easter egg that people don't know that is on top of that Easter egg. It's like you get 2 eggs in one. I have to just look. The senator's name is Senator Grebleeps, which is just Spielberg mashed up. So the actual senator for the ET species is Spielberg himself. I guess. But and then like those are all like the little things, kind of like just little relationships and things that led up behind the scenes up until where Spielberg actually like gets his feet wet, jumps into working on Star Wars in Revenge of the Sith. So he was behind a lot of the moments in that film. And he's uncredited. You only get the mention on a lot of the Blu-ray and the old DVD features, the making ofs and the interviews and the documentaries and stuff. You get little tidbits from George here and there and whatnot. But he had a lot to do in that film. And it ultimately is because he just made a phone call to George and said, "I'm bored. I have nothing to do." That's and George is like,
Incredible.
okay,
We'll come work on this movie.
here's ILM, go hang out with them. That's pretty much what it was. And so he did storyboards for a lot of like really big moments. He did a lot of the Obi-Wan and Grievous bike chase. That was more so
sequence.
that was more so I think a lot of that was left in storyboards though, because I don't think they ended up using the full chase scene that they had done. I think a lot of the Spielberg specific things weren't necessarily heavily featured in the final cut.
Mm-hmm.
But two of his biggest ones are both take place, or I can't even say biggest because this is not even the cream of the crop, but Order 66, he specifically Ayla and Plo Koon's deaths. He was the one that was like open fire on Ayla, pull back, let the plant cover her, just keep firing on him. He directed that scene. And he also kind of directed Plo's death. He was the one that said, let them be, or Plo thinks that these clones are his escort, his wingmen, his guardians through Cater and Amoidia. And he said, let's flip it on them. And now all of a sudden, like, I mean, that's the whole plot of Order 66, but the way he had them act as escorts and then just kind of the downfall of Plo, he directed that scene. He also had to work in 3 lightsaber fights. He basically was the second version, the second version / the final version we get of Mace versus Sidious.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently Anakin was there the whole time, or a majority of the fight, and just kind of stood around there, and it was kind of like viewed as like a backstabbing almost. Like Anakin always knew he was going to do this, and Spielberg told George, he was like, well, isn't this all for Padme? What happened to her? So they kind of reworked it to get Anakin out till the end, and now you get the beautiful scene with the sunset and everything, like no words spoken and all the tears seen. And so he had a hand in changing that scene, and he also did a majority of the work on Yoda versus Palpatine. I don't know of specifics, but I do know that he's credited for a nice chunk of that fight. But I do know he's also credited from when Anakin and Obi-Wan are on like the bridge overhanging the lava.
Yeah.
And from there to like their fight surfing on the lava, that's like his chunk of that battle. Of that lightsaber fight. So
iconic.
Yeah, like if I could only wish for a full Spielberg film of Star Wars, but the little bits he gave us in Revenge of the Sith are probably the best bits. So the film itself. So, and to top it off, he was the one who suggested J.J. Abrams for The Force Awakens. So
that tracks too.
Yeah. So that's kind of the little. He's had a pretty big hand in Star Wars. Whether, I mean, for a lot of the time it was small little Easter eggs and connections across films and just playful fun within the world of Hollywood and movies. And then he ultimately ended up just getting his foot involved and foot in the door. I mean, he doesn't need a foot in the door, but for lack of a better description, he stepped his way into ILM and just kind of gave us cinema as always. So that's
we love Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, we're kicking off Thank the Maker with the Maker's best friend.
Yeah, it's wild because, like you were saying at the top, it's something that like I didn't even know most of this stuff before you had mentioned it earlier.
I'm a fountain of useless BTS research.
But yeah, it's really cool. We'll get into that more and more behind the scenes stuff as we like move forward.
Yeah,
and bring this segment back.
I'm very excited for the random facts from that that are going to spew out from this segment in the future.
It'll be cool.
Maybe we'll get really cool. Who knows? I'm going to do some digging and I'm going to find some fun stuff. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to wrap it up here and say thank you, everyone, for tuning into our first episode of Framing the Force. Alex, where can people find you online?
You can find me online at AP Batman with 2 T's.
And please be sure to subscribe here to Aspect on YouTube and any platform where podcasts are found. You can follow us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, and TikTok at The Aspect Co. And you can find me on Twitter at Robby _Weidemann and at Star Wars or at SW Shot by Shot. Sorry, I gotta get it official with those handles. Thank you to Peter Fraser for providing our series music, and thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in a galaxy far, far away.